Outlaw, macho, drive-in.
Around. This one here was just like, hey, we don't care about the ratings
Yeah.
or the not the ratings, but the television rating of PG TV
Yeah,
14.
it's kind of
We're
like if
doing
you
whatever now.
yeah, it's kind of like if you were having doubts about what this show was now, I'll tell you what, let's fix those doubts for you.
Yes,
Pullman.
and and a lot of people, they do love the Attitude Era, and I love Austin. I love DX. But there's just a different charm to like the '97 version of the Attitude Era, where it was just more about actual stars having attitude instead
Yeah.
of like forcing the gimmicks. Like
Instead of the whole show
97
like then you oh we're attitude now.
shock. Yes. Like 98 and 99 Attitude Era was for shocks. 2000 Attitude Era started kind of getting some matches going because of Edge, Christian, etc., Angle, Benoit. But 97 Attitude Era was just about, Bret having an attitude, Michaels having an attitude, Austin having an
Yeah.
attitude. It was about the stars being dark and not caring. Um, and it's like, who knows what would have happened if, Bret re-signed? Would
It's
98 have looked more like 97? Would 98 look more like the end of 96? Who knows? Like,
yeah, because let's be honest, like he doesn't get enough. Like Bret Hart is the unsung hero of the Attitude Era because
yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
by the time his contract was up and he jumped to WCW, even before that screw job, he was looking back at it now, he was the most intriguing character on the WWF show then
yeah, completely,
because
completely.
there you cannot like fathom the complete how many layers there were to that character at that time. How much
Yeah,
he's been scorned, how much he got back, how much he's been worried. Because again, it's kind of like low key debuted on Disney Plus this week or last week. I mean, or a
yes,
minute
yep,
ago, and it told you the story about how every villain is the hero of their own story. With Bret Hart,
yeah,
if you watch Monday Night Raw, in that timing. If you watch those shows, Bret was definitely the hero of his own story,
was,
and he was a justified hero at that. He's not like he wasn't delusional about him doing the being the greater good or anything. Again, this might be something because if you remember Game of the second to last episode of Game of Thrones, you and I were
yes,
among the minority who did not, shake our heads at how the nearest Targaryen just,
yes,
destroyed King's Landing
yeah,
because it had a lot of echoes of what happened to Bret Hart and what Bret Hart did,
did,
because and when I said because when I said people were talking about the heel turn and they would compare it to Hogan and the NWO, I would say no, it's Bret Hart in
it's Bret.
'97 because
Yeah,
up
he
to
was
that
doing what she
point.
thought was best.
Yeah, Bret Hart. Yeah, because Bret Hart. Not even that. Bret Hart was doing everything right. He was
Yeah,
going after the title the right way. He was upholding the law, and people were just, and he was getting screwed at every turn, and people were just siding with everyone else. So if you look
and
at the,
the thing is, he did turn heel.
yeah,
What did he do? He reunited his family.
exactly.
He reunited his entire family. He reunited his two brother-in-laws. He reunited his brother. He brought in a family friend in Pillman. He brought in basically his blood to help him fight
Yeah,
against. If you quite frankly, if you do watch like 97 in your houses, 97 pay-per-views in general nowadays, Steve Austin is a complete heel.
Steve Austin complete heel. Even the in your Revenge of the Taker, Austin is the heel. There is no
Yeah,
question about it.
yeah,
He
yeah,
attacks Bret Hart backstage. He destroys his leg. He is the aggressor in their match, and Bret Hart while he's cowering in the corner trying to get up, he flips Austin out. Bret Hart is the
yeah,
defiant babyface in that one moment. You're
yeah,
looking at
yeah.
it because still, and this is how like if you want to think about it, this is how genius Bret Hart is because he is not going into a typical heel face. He is a heel, but he is embodying a heel who still thinks of himself as the good guy.
Yes, yes,
He is the he is still the good. So he's not gonna cower away and tell Austin, no, please, don't hit me with that chair or cower away like typical heels
yes,
would do. He is gonna be defiant because he has that hero mentality still in
yes.
his head.
Which is poetic for that time because it's just showing how wrestling industry has changed. Because oh, and on WCW, people are having to fight,
Yeah,
outsider organization, the NWO. ECW is existing. People are on the internet more, so it's like it's like everything just came at the exact same time, and it made perfectly sense. And that Bret Hart heel turn couldn't have happened in '96. It couldn't have happened in '98. '97 was the perfect.
it was.
That
Yeah, there was a
was
vacuum
the
of that.
perfect timing, perfect moment.
Yeah,
And WrestleMania 13 is a fantastic will turn, but it's like if you look at Final Four, you look at Revenge of Taker, Bret. If you do those back to back, Bret is now different. But if you watch it in hindsight, he still appears as the face. Like
yeah.
it's like his family is basically like the Calvary. It's basically that's what it is at the time.
Because yeah,
Um,
because the Cowboy, and it's very weird that they played that match, that match was constructed the way it was constructed, the Revenge of the Taker match, uh, because again, and it shows you how crazy it was back in 90 at the time, because people were cheering Austin for the same reason they started booing Bret at WrestleMania 13.
yeah, exactly.
It's it's weird, and again, it's something that maybe watching these shows in real time back then, watching it week to week, you might not appreciate it. But if you're thinking about it now, years later, seeing how it was, you're like, damn it, Bret Hart is a genius.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
completely.
while, yeah, and while people like praise his technical skills and everything he does not get enough credit for being an amazing, maybe not the best, but he's still an amazing storyteller.
It is completely.
He is, yeah, again,
Every match, Brett never half-assed anything. Like I think pretty much most people around our age easily say that they're guys from 92 to 98, 92 to 97, Taker, Brett, and Sean. Even when Sean was a heel, I was a Sean guy. When Brett was still a heel, I was still kind of a Brett guy. Um, and those three guys are just like the epitome of that time period. And Brett more so than because they all have different styles. Like Taker was the character base. Michaels was a defiant guy at all times who was just like doing whatever he wanted. But
yeah,
Brett, the way that he would literally just lay in his punches, lay in his kicks, like you believe that he was the
fighting
best
to win.
wrestler
Yeah,
in the world.
he was the
Yes.
best wrestler to win. He was, again, like remember when you did the whole like what Finn Balor is doing now is a lot of reminiscent of Bret Hart,
Yes.
because
It
Bret
is.
Hart has different matches with everyone, but he still has matches. When it's a big match, he does not look like he is just wrestling a schmuck out there.
No.
He makes like he was facing. He had an in your house match with. I can't
Takushi?
remember. Yeah, well, Hakushi, yeah, WrestleMania in your house 1, but going back to in your house 4, or is it 3? I think it's 3, where I can't remember what his name was then, but yeah, PCO.
Oh yeah. It went like 10 minutes or so. It was
Yeah,
an awesome
and it
match.
was an awesome match. And this guy, when you think about it, I mean, this was a throwaway match. This should have been
Completely.
Bret Hart just walking through him like
Through him.
like John Cena did to The Miz in 2007.
Yeah.
That's what I think about it. But then here's the difference: Bret Hart can actually make this guy look good, while still not decreasing his own position in the company. So you'd see Bret Hart in this competitive match against a guy who is, let's be honest, at the time he was an underneath
On the
talent.
card.
Yeah,
And actually that match is a perfect example of In Your House because they repackaged him with the eye patch and everything.
yeah,
So he's getting a singles push. He's no longer a Quebecer. It's basically the whole here's your opportunity to shine. Give us 10 minutes. See what you can do. And honestly, I'm surprised he didn't do more on In Your Houses that year because it was an impressive showing.
yeah, it was.
And didn't pop up on In Your House again until No Way Out 98 when the Quebecers faced the Godwins.
Yeah, out of nowhere, you just had the Quebecers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And was nowhere near as good as that Bret match. He did everything he could, and unlike an AEW match where it's like, oh, we're gonna have a main eventer face this dark guy for 12 minutes on Dynamite. This here, it seemed less about an enhancement match because enhancement matches were basically on Raws, on Superstars. This was basically here's a main eventer versus a mid carder. We're gonna see what happens, and they delivered.
Yeah, and
Bret was just that great.
Yeah, and it didn't come out like Bret Hart looking weaker. It came out as BCO looking stronger. But still,
Yes.
yeah, but Bret Hart is still the man because
Yes.
I think this was the beginning of like building Bret Hart back up to take the title from Diesel at Survivor Series. He does this.
Thank you for joining us on the Outlaw Macho Drive-In. If you liked that video, please click like and subscribe to our channel for more content from the Drive-In. For full episodes of our podcast, you may look us up on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever your favorite podcasts are available. Just search for Outlaw Macho Drive-In. And if it's not too much trouble, would you help us out here? Spread the word, share. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. We love you. Bye.